In today's day and age, if you're not on social media, that in and of itself is a liability.
Every day that we spend on this earth, we are ourselves are a living, talking, breathing, walking brand. And it is our duty to market ourselves, to put ourselves out there.
Because of the algorithm and the reach they have, these two platforms will give you the maximum amount of reach. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiser Together with your hosts, Parmeet Kumar and Anas Pasha. Thank you for joining us and being a part of this. We truly appreciate your support. In this episode, we're going to be talking about personal branding. In research for this episode, we went through tons of podcasts, articles, blogs, videos, and we're going to be sharing that with you. We're going to talk about what personal branding is, why it's so important in today's day and age, what are the benefits that you can get out of personal branding, and lastly, give you a step-by-step guide as to how you can start and how you can grow your personal brand. So without further ado, I want to ask Anas, why is personal branding important in today's day and age?
Hi, Prameet. Hope you're doing well, brother. Look, I mean, it's been a year since we started Wiser as well. And although Wiser is not a personal brand, it is something which is sort of like a collaboration that we've come up with. But nonetheless, it is a brand. What
Mhm.
this platform does for us is that it brings out the best version. For me, I believe person branding has to do with one thing, and that is with attracting like minded individuals. I believe that has to be the most important factor. Forget about in this day and age why person branding might be important, because you yourself have to make your own space in this digital currency. And what I mean over here is
Economy.
that yeah, in this day and age of AI, like how you have your video AI coming up, your image, your text space, and everything coming up, I believe like it is so important that you need to create your own space. And individuals coming in, creating their own pockets of brands, and then attracting and connecting with like minded individuals. I believe that has to be the number one factor, right? The second factor is that that my own personal brand, the superior you, superior Anas, has to do with bringing out the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
right? And I believe when I went on that journey, I also connected with you. I also subtly, subconsciously attracted you, and of course you in your own journey as well attracted me as well. So that has to be my most number one pivotal factor. We're going to go into detail as to how you can personal brand yourself and the ways that we can come up with. There's a whole ton of research that we have done, but I believe the most pivotal factor is the energy, is the frequency that we connect when we go on a journey towards higher purpose. So person branding, the most important thing in this day and age for any individual right now. How about you?
No, I definitely agree with you. It's a big part of it is about attracting like-minded people, so you can grow and amplify that energy. Uh, I feel like from the day you were born, no matter if you think of yourself as a brand or not, you do have certain energy that you carry in within yourself. You have certain values, certain energy, skills, talents, narratives, opinions, beliefs that you carry within yourself that makes you who you are. And as you go out in the world and you interact with people in a social environment, in a professional environment, you are constantly marketing yourself. You are leaving an impression on people socially, in a social setting and a professional setting. So, regardless of, it's just a question of either you're doing this consciously or you're doing this subconsciously. Regardless of that, you are doing this. So, I feel like you are your biggest marketer. Uh, how people treat you on the outside, how people see you on the outside, how people feel about you on the outside is just a reflection of how you see yourself, how you respect yourself, and how you feel about yourself. So, in this day and age, with a lot of social media, like you mentioned, AI is coming up. Uh, there is so much competition. There is such less barriers to entry nowadays. You could just pick up your phone, make an account, make a video, and be on social media. There is high competition, which means you need to differentiate yourself, which you need to market yourself, you need to brand yourself more and more consciously. In doing so, I also think that as we're moving more towards the creator economy side, from more from having these big corporations with thousands of people with no face to show for it, we're moving more towards individual connections. People buy from people. People want to buy from people. People don't want to buy from big corporations, which they can't even hold accountable in case something is wrong goes wrong. So if you build that authority, if you build that brand, if you convey yourself in the right manner, that people can uh, affiliate with, associate with, get familiar with, that brings comfort, and that will lead to more connection and eventually uh, more sales, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve through your brand. It will increase and it will grow. So it's why personal branding. Just to summarize, you are your biggest marketer, so make sure you do it in the best way possible. You are already doing it subconsciously, so it's just a matter of being conscious and taking charge and doing it firsthand, because that's what determines who you are in the society. People buy from people, so establishing your values, your character, your personality in the society will give you that credibility and authority that people are looking for and can put their trust in. Uh, it's also about discovering and sharing your uniqueness. As you go on this journey, you will be forced to test yourself and discover yourself in ways you haven't done before, which will you will be almost be forced to find things that are unique about yourself that you can market, which will not only help you discover more about yourself, but help you differentiate from others. And lastly, there is high competition in today's day and age. If you're not on social media, that in and of itself is a liability. If there's two people, I like to give one example here. There are people who are geniuses in their industry, absolute geniuses, right? But they don't have the ability to market themselves. And there are people who are somewhat good, better than average, but are good marketers. And your credibility, your authority, the value you provide to people is only as good as how you can market it. You can have 100% here, but if only 30% is coming out, that's what people are receiving. Having here and communicating this through your mouth and through your brand are two separate things. So even if you're decent at something, if you learn to market yourself, put yourself in the right places, in the right rooms with the right people, in the right manner that people can relate with, that will give them enough confidence to put their trust in you to do whatever it is that you are doing. So that's why personal branding in today's day and age is so important. Not just for people, I would say for corporations as well. Not on a corporate level, though, on an individual level. Even if you are someone who's working in a big corporation, on an individual level, how do you represent yourself? Let's say you're working at Oracle, you're selling software. What How do people identify with you personally? Yeah, you work for a big corporation and the brand has its own values, but when there's a customer coming in, they're not speaking to the brand, they're speaking to you. So what do you offer? How do you market yourself? Are you someone who's trustable? Are you someone who's displayed evidence of uh, providing value and the things that you're doing? Uh, So definitely having a social media presence or any sort of presence that can convey your brand to your audience or to your community can be a game changer, right? So that's why it's important. No matter what field you're in, you're a plumber, you're a bus driver, you're a software selling software, or you're a business owner, whatever it may be, people relate to people and people buy from people. So make sure on a personal level you are selling and marketing yourself effectively. What do you think of that, Anas?
Absolutely. Look, like we talked about, now this was why it was important, right? You need to understand, whoever is listening, what Parmeet picked on is that you are your biggest marketeer. No one cares about you. All right. You must understand this. In this day and age, no one really does care about you. And if you do not give out the
Them a
reason
reason.
for,
Hmm.
yeah, for someone to care about you. So like Parmeet said, that if you are either a bus driver or a CMO at Boeing or wherever it is, and by the way, it is so true. There are many companies out there. I can't quote you right now, but if you look for it, there are many big corporations out there whose CMOs, CFOs, etc., have their own podcasts. I think there is one, a friend of ours recommended, it was a French businessman, and he has his own podcast. I think it's the right mindset leadership or something like this. And definitely, corporations are also picking on it. So if a corporation who doesn't really need to go out here and put out their face are doing this, I believe you can just pick up your phone and indeed give something valuable out there as well. Look, I'll be very honest. Uh, Nelson Mandela said that there is no passion to be found playing small, right? And what that really just simply means is that live your life to the fullest extent, give out the value that you truly have, right? For me myself, I spent most of my life being a side character in my own movie, right? Never really trying to be the star in my own movie, never really trying to be the main character in my own movie. And believe it or not, most of the world's population live their lives like this, and then they just go because their conditioning, like we always talk about, they're just put in a box, they're put in a cage, and their conditioning, to never represent their own brand, be it be because of less confidence, be it be because of what they think the world might think of them, etc., really just puts them inside a box, and then they never really go out and give value, right? So we must understand, like Parmi said, that we are our biggest marketeers. Every day that we spend on this earth, we are ourselves are a living, talking, breathing, walking brand, and it is our duty to market ourselves, to put ourselves out there, to have a face behind the name, right? And I'm going to go over some things that what person branding does for you. And this is something very, very important because the world needs your brand, the world needs your authenticity, the world needs your voice, right? Number one thing that it does for you and for others is that it builds
So we're
authenticity.
just jumping into benefits of personal branding here. Just
More like, yeah, more like, yes, you can say that.
so let's do that. Let's jump into the benefits of personal branding, what it can do for you, what how it can benefit you and people around you. So let's go on us. What are the
All right.
benefits?
Perfect. Right. So number one that it does is that it builds authenticity, trust. Right. These are the two most important things. Like Parmeet said, people want to buy from people. Right. Um, when there's a big corporation, when there is a general generic ad coming on TV, newspaper, billboard, etc., you don't really know what you're or who you're buying from. But when you
Mhm.
see people promoting a particular product, there is definitely a sense of ownership. There is definitely a sense of trust. Right. If someone has 1 million or 10 million followers, there is a reason why they have that loyal following, and especially a following that converts, I believe that is just a bigger responsibility. At the same time, that is a trust that you're trying to build with your customer, that is a authenticity that you're trying to build with your audience. Like for example, we can take a very big example of Ronaldo, right? There was a famous incident where he come up on the press conference and he hit the Coca-Cola bottle. That was probably reason why, because he himself does not consume that product, so he doesn't want to really attach himself to that product for XYZ health reason. So that's number one thing. You're trying to build trust with your audience as well, right? Then, like Parmeet said, huge competition, less barriers of entry. You want to make a clear distinction between you and other people as well, between what you're about, what other people are about. And that's the beauty of social media, that's the beauty of technology right now. You can just pick up of your phone, put on a webcam or whatever it is, even if you don't want to record a talking head video, just even talking your voice, and putting your voice out there really helps building a clear distinction. Your values, your experiences, your life journey are no one else's, right? Even your geolocation, how you're brought up, right? And that really helps establish a clear distinction between where you're living, what you're promoting, and what you're talking about. So that really helps as well. The third thing would be to build discipline through consistency. It's been the same thing for us as well, whether it's about our podcast, our workouts, our nutrition, or the way that we live our life. We really can't do that if we don't make a lifestyle out of it. We wouldn't be here talking about these things consistently, a year plus on, if we weren't about that lifestyle, if we weren't doing this consistently. So consistency brings upon discipline as well. We've often talked about that motivation is often fleeting, but discipline is somewhat cemented. So this really doing this regularly establishes discipline as well. And I mean, of course, we can safely say that discipline over here that we're trying to talk about has positive connotations attached to it, like your lifestyle. Um, of course, then what I talked about in the beginning was that you're trying to make a community of like-minded individuals. That's what we're trying to do with the Wiser community as well, right? We're trying to onboard people, we're trying to connect with people, even through the podcast as well. People who are about what we talk, what we live, what we eat, what we read, what we see, right? We're trying to attract the like-minded individual. Parmeet and I have often discussed that, although the message is for everyone, but the community might not be for everyone. It is a community of like-minded individuals, people who are willing to put in that effort, people who are willing to at least learn or at least open their minds to this higher frequency, to this higher purpose of life, to just understand that um, you're on this planet to do something more than what you are trying to do. So that's gotta be my most important and favorite thing, because that is what brought Parmeet and I together. The last thing is that, like Parmeet said, that you can never really go wrong with it, because, like I said, your experiences, your values are yours, and no one can really teach you, or no one can really make you experience those. Um, it's the same thing with both Parmeet and I. Our values are going to be a little bit different, because from the way that we were brought up, from the way that we've had our experiences, and whatever we say in our own capacity or however we see the world, we're trying to put out the best possible way for people to relate to us. So there's really no right or wrong or maybe to it. There's just your views and your version of it. And there's always an audience out there. There are always going to be people out there who will connect with you, who will resonate with you, who will understand you, what you're saying, why you're saying, and where you're coming from. Lastly, like I said, you have the AI. You see a lot of content out there now where like a person will go on ChatGPT, they will generate a script. um, I think ChatGPT is also coming with a platform where they can create video. I saw this in the Affiliate World conference. I forgot its name. It starts with S, but it looked legit. Like, it looked so legit that I think even a high production set would, like a producer director will be like, like some of them at least, not Christopher Nolan for example, would just be like, let's just use this AI. And it's just going to be so important, to make your own space, to occupy this space, to have your own voice. It's so easy. It'll be so easy to produce mass content out there, and you really don't want to listen to people if you're just looking for an answer for a particular thing. But however, at the same time, like Pramit said, people want to buy from people. People want to buy from authentic sources. And that's why you see a big shift in media as well. Now you have so many independent media outlets, right? People are moving from conventional legacy media outlets, such as all the big channels like CNN, BBC, right? They're now literally depending on their information from individual producer, individual podcasters, right? And why not? Because you have all the industry leaders coming over there, all the big tech heads coming over there in the podcast, not only on just one, but multiple of them. So you're literally getting authentic, focused, um, no agenda driven, no ulterior motive driven information from these platforms. So benefits, like we mentioned, these are five, and there can be many others as well. But the number one benefit, I would say, again, I would reiterate, is that when you're working on your personal brand, right, it is the most beautiful, it is the most clear, it is the most pure push that you can give yourself. Because that push, that drive on creating your personal brand comes from within. It is not driven by any other ulterior motive. It is purely created as a result of you trying to be a better version, trying to be better cognitively, spiritually, financially, physically, all the important facets of life, right? And we always have talked about this. When you are in a pursuit of chasing a higher version of yourself, a superior version of yourself, a better version of yourself, your cup becomes full. All right. When your cup becomes full, that is only when you're able to give others as well. When you're 100%, you can try and go out and help others as well. Charity begins at home, literally. So that has to be the most important facet. Be your own hero, be your own main character, and live your life to the fullest. Establish your personal brand. Be the best every day. That's what you can do. And for me, those have to be the best benefits out of creating your own personal brand.
100%. Very well said, Anas. And you very much summarized the points I had as well, covered pretty much everything. I'll just go over them again in my own way. So I love this quote by Steve Harvey. He says, "If you don't share knowledge, how do we know you have it? If you don't share knowledge, how do we know you have it?" So, like I mentioned before, you as a brand, the value, the skills, the knowledge you have is only as good as how you can put it out there and how you can share it, right? It's definitely a skill that is extremely underrated. Marketing can be a game changer for you if you're, doesn't matter if you're an individual or a corporation. So, coming back to the benefits, I'll go over three main points. Firstly, coming back on what you said, accountability is a big part. Uh, Not only accountability to keep going and keep marketing yourself, but accountability to being accountable to the narrative and the opinions and the beliefs you put out there and abiding by them. It makes you a more stronger person. It brings you a lot of integrity, and with that comes a lot of trust and confidence from your community and from your audience. Like we mentioned, people buy from people. This is going to be a common theme because we're moving more and more towards. Anas mentioned a very good example here of news, right? We're moving more from the traditional means of getting our information to going more towards the newer ways is through YouTube or listening to independent journalism, because I feel like you feel comfortable and more confident when you are able to relate to a person, right? These big corporations, when something goes wrong, you don't know who to speak to. If something goes wrong with your order, they put you with an AI agent. That's so uncomfortable. There's such a lack of connection, and it's frustrating, to be honest. As opposed to if you speak to a person on the phone, build that connection, get that surety from the person. Don't worry, this is what our brand represents, and we're going to fix this. That gives you confidence, that gives you trust, and that gives you assurance. So again, through personal branding, you can build accountability to not just for yourself but your audience as well, and that would help you be more consistent, be more disciplined, and yeah, keep growing. Secondly, leveraging. Once you have that audience and community, there's so many things that you can do from it, financially and non-financially. Uh, it could be turned into a product, it could turn into a service, it could be something that you can get financial gain out of. It's necessary, obviously, that you are providing the value for that gain. And secondly, even non financially, you can get around with the people within your industry. Let's say you're into the fitness and self growth industry, right? The more and more value you provide, the more and more people will come to get that value, and the more people you will put, like-minded people you will put in the room who have the same energy, who are trying to do the same things, who are talking about the same things, and just through chatting, interacting, networking with them, not only you can elevate your skills but their skills as well. We always say that you are an average of five people around you. So whatever aspect you want to grow in, just interact with people who are involved in that already. I these days personally, I with Wiser, we're into the self growth, wellness, fitness industry. Day in day out, I just go on Eventbrite, which is event ticket hosting platform, and I just look for events, be it for meditating at the beach, yoga, these workshops, introducing new supplements, products, and I just find them and I go there alone, interact with people, get to know them more and more, and yeah, just elevate my skills and then get that value and then provide it to my personal audience and community. So there's a lot of ways you can leverage uh, this personal brand that you have built, and it can bring you a lot of benefit and people around you a lot of benefit. And lastly, we also touched on community. Once you build that authority, people wanna be affiliated to that brand. That brings them comfort, that brings them familiarity. You would rather buy from or deal with or talk with someone you know, someone who's credible, someone who has authority, as opposed to uh, just going for the most available or cheapest option, right? So these things are very important. Leveraging uh, community and accountability. Uh, so, like we promised at the beginning of the episode, we are gonna step on to the third segment of this podcast, which is giving you a step by step guide as to how you can start. Uh, and if you have already started, if you have something already going on for you, how is it that you can grow your personal brand using social media? Uh, right. So, first things first, Anas, I'm going to go here. Feel free to interject me, please.
Of
Uh,
course, please.
yeah, so first things first, I feel like you're using how you can start is through social media is a great place to start, obviously, but the two platforms that are best to get started is Instagram and TikTok. And why I say that is because these platforms have the best discoverability, the best discovery. Right? So it's not the end point, it's the start point. This is a place where people find out about you. This is a place where people discover you. So just because of the algorithm and the reach they have, these two platforms will give you the maximum amount of reach, helping your audience discover you. Once they have discovered you, they have landed on your page. There are certain things, a lot of things that you can do to grow them or monetize them, right? So first things first, your starting point, choosing a platform, be it Insta, be it TikTok, or you could do both, right? Once you have decided that, make sure you are marketing yourself as a brand. If you don't know what to do, just just do what you feel like doing. Do what you like to see other people doing, and you don't need to succeed the first time. This is all about experimenting, and I feel like this is the best phase because you really like try out everything and really discover what works for you. So because you are marketing yourself as a brand, your values, your skills, your character, your talent, whatever it is, just put it all out there. Convey that in different ways, experiment, or do what you like doing. Engage with your community, uh, talk to them in the comments, see what they're doing, and then eventually, after doing this for about a couple of months, I would recommend post 3 to 6 times daily. Sorry, 3 to 6 times weekly for 3 months, and keep innovating and keep modifying your content and the value you are providing. And eventually, through constant engagement with your community, you will find your niche. And then it's just about refining that and going deeper into that. So, this is how you can start. I'll give you 5 tips on how you can grow your content, if you your personal brand, if you have already started. So the first one being Uh, Create binge worthy content. Create content that people, if they see one video or post or audio, whatever it may be, it gets them curious about more. Like, it's sort of your first impression, and you should leave that room with the impression that people want to know, what is this person, what he or she is about, what do they do, what do they stand for, what do they represent, right? It just gets them more and more curious. So it's got to be an interesting one. So create, and then obviously binge-worthy content would then give you one video of discovery would give you tons and tons of other engagement and views. Secondly, have a similar theme and opening that people can relate with you. That is sort of your identity. We all have a unique identity within ourselves. So have a similar theme and opening. And then make sure you provide value. That value could be in the form of education or in the form of entertainment. As long as it's valuable, people will come back. But that's a very important aspect, providing value. Thirdly, add a hook. Retention is extremely important. Uh, and if you give people a reason to stay, they do stay. A hook can be spoken, a hook can be written, a hook can be video, visual text, or spoken. It could be anything, but it's just something that would get people to stay. Think of it like that. Anything that gets people to stay. Make sure you're authentic there as well. Second last, it's just about maximizing and optimizing and reaching the most amount of people. So whatever your industry is, whatever it is that you're talking about, make sure you're putting yourself out there and capitalizing on that opportunity as much as you can. So using keywords, using hashtags, using polls, using trending audios, using tags, all these things will put you out in the rooms where you want to be discovered, and you never know which one works for you. All of them uh, give you an extra push, right? And you never know which one's gonna be it for you. So make sure you maximize on that. These things don't really take a lot of time, and obviously engaging captions are something that is uh, really helps build that one-on-one connection. So using captions, using keywords, hashtag polls, trending audios, tags, and just creating an environment where the community can engage with each other. Through engagement, your audience will grow. And lastly, this isn't for new starters. If you've already built a platform, if you already have an audience and a community, and you already do provide value, one way to grow that can be put your whatever value you want to provide, put it in a sort of a document or something, and offer that as a free product to your customers in exchange for their email. You get their email, you give them a free product, whatever it may be, to your industry, providing them value. That email can then be used to repurpose other parts of your funnels to them, or other parts of your values to them, other products and services to them. It's like a lifelong uh, it's like a lifelong membership they have to your community. Email can be used for a lot of different things, and it can definitely help you grow your brand and monetize it in better ways as well. So these are the step-by-step guides. Obviously, this isn't very extensive. It's very summarized. Uh, you can obviously look deeper into each individual one of them, but just to summarize, uh, have a starting point. Best for discoverability is Instagram and TikTok. So start there. If you're new, make sure you post 3 to 6 times weekly so you're consistent, and do whatever you feel like, do whatever you like doing, do whatever you like to see other people doing, and just put yourself out there, experiment as much as you can, engage with your community. In some time, as you keep refining your value, you will find your niche, and you can grow that community through creating binge worthy content, through making sure that you're providing value, be it in the form of entertainment or education. Make sure you add a hook which gets people to stay longer and watch more, gets them more curious about you. Make sure you put yourself out there in every way possible using engaging captions, keywords, hashtag polls, trending audios, and tags. And lastly, giving them some sort of value in a document in exchange for their email, which can be repurposed for a lot of different things.
I think that was phenomenal. That is definitely, guys, a starter kit for anyone who wants to put themselves out there. I think Parmeet went over everything that was there to be said about just starting, just taking that first step. And we always talk about not to look at the end, but to enjoy the process, just to go with the flow, because you never know what one video, what one post might be it for you. If you know you wake up the next day and you're all over magazines, all over newspapers, and it can be. And the reason why I said this is that people listening to this part, they'll be like, nah, that can never be me. And that's what I
Yeah,
want to address right now. I really want to speak to the average Joe. I really want to speak to all of us who are just floating in life, who just never want to take that first step because they never have that belief. Believe it or not, Parmeet and I both had that, and trust me, we're nowhere near our goal right now. As of now, we're it's not that we've put a time limit or a certain destination to our mind, because we ourselves are just enjoying the process. We do it for ourselves. It has always been a selfish reason to do so. However, we're happy, we're glad that we did it, and we did not leave anything on the table, any ghost, any regrets or anything, and that we went and we did it. Now, it's very important that you start. And apart from what Parmeet said, it doesn't have to have your face. It even doesn't have to have your voice. Believe it or not, everyone, every living human does always brand themselves, always market themselves. There is no profession where you do not have human to human connection. All right. Even a coder who's sitting at the back office has someone that he's reporting to, has clients that he has to talk to. When he's talking, when they're looking at his face or even his product or anything, that is branding. That might not be at the level of branding that you are conditioned to think, but even the product, even the work that you put out there, the hashtag that you use, the caption that you use, that is branding. So might as well, like how Parmita talked about, use those tips, the reasons why, and amplify your voice. It will only do you good. I see no negative side effects. I see no drawbacks as to you not elevating yourself, as to you not elevating your brand. Believe me, I see content sometimes and I see people out there, and I'm not trying to be prejudiced, biased, or trying to impose my own beliefs, but I believe that there are people out there in the world who have a platform, who have an audience, and sometimes these audiences, these consumers are exploited. I'm in the e-commerce industry and I share a lot of insider tips and knowledge with Parmeet as to what businesses are doing and what methods are being deployed. And sometimes you can say that they're a little scammy. People do get a little catfished into things, um, buying things which are 10 times worth what it originally should be worth, and it all has to do with branding. What I'm trying to get into is a little bit of dark side of branding, how people occupy such places. Now they might not have started in such a way, but it somewhere down along the line, that's the road that they have taken, and that's perfectly fine. What I'm trying to say is that we need to occupy these places, right? We need to bring out our voice into the internet, into the algorithm, and we need to speak our mind. And if you are a person who you believe that the value that you're trying to portray will be beneficial to someone. Like when we said, if you're in the business of fitness or health or well being or trying to teach people how to achieve financial freedom, do it, because you might be helping someone because of your knowledge. Now, you might think that your knowledge might not suffice, or you might not have that authority, or you might not have that education, but all of those things are in your head. There might be people who might not even have that surface level knowledge. So, there is no, like, I will just repeat Nelson Mandela, there is no passion in playing small. And I want to touch on consistency as well, because you're as good as your last post. All right. So you have to be consistent every day, every week, every month, whatever you decide. You have to be consistent, like Ramit said as well, in your messaging as well, and the values that you're trying to portray. Another thing that you must understand is that there is a lot of competition. Because of less barriers to entry, a lot of people are in the funnel. A lot of people might be at the same stage as you are, like at the top of the funnel, trying to start out, trying to portray the message using the same hashtag, using the same caption, etc. So it's very important that you realize this and that you diversify yourself as much as you can. Lastly, and I'm just going to end from my side and then Prameet can take over, is that it's very important to amplify your truth. Like I said, that the way that you've been brought up, the values, and the way that you see the world in your own point of view, it has to be your own truth. You're not gonna go far in life, and nobody successful who has established their brand has gone far in life if they haven't spoken their own truth. People love authenticity, and the e-commerce industry as well. All of our ads that perform really, really well are the UGCs, which are the user generated content. You know, just driving back to what Parmeet said, people buy from people. And when they come onto the screen, they record a video with our products talking about how that product has provided them the benefit, the value that we promise. It sells. People buy it because we also try our very best to provide our customers with product that does exactly what that UGC is trying to say. So really, it's just we can talk about this in other podcasts as well. But yeah, that's all from my side.
Thank you for that, Anas. And lastly, I just want to say, come back to the point you mentioned that people might, one thing that really holds back people from starting is uh, thinking that what value can I provide, whatever industry it is in. There's already tons and tons of people out there who are already doing this. What benefit or how will I able to scale this? Uh, think of it this way, right? Firstly, you never know. The audience you have, the exposure you have to your set of people is different from anybody else, right? So regardless of whoever may be doing it, shouldn't really concern you. Secondly, let's say you wanna uh, you're interested in financial freedom, right? And that's your topic of choice, that's something you're passionate about and you want to provide value with. You know how they say teaching is the best way of learning. So start there, right? Start by learning something and then teaching them, and learning something and teaching it. This could be more of a personal journey as well, wherein as you are teaching more and more, you're learning more and more, and you're elevating uh, your own skills at the same time providing them. And it will come to a point where you are an authority on the subject, and it'll only go up from there, right? So you don't need to be an expert. Whatever you're interested about, just talk, share your thoughts. Even if you're wrong, somebody will correct you. What will happen? You learn and you'll grow. So that's it, guys. Have a personal brand. You already do have a personal brand. Maybe you're not doing it on a conscious level.
Mhm.
Be mindful of that. Be aware. Do it consciously. uh, your brand is basically how people resonate with you and the impression you leave on them. uh, so
Especially
it's
how you talked about how people treat you. I think that is such an important thing that people just do an oversight.
100%, and that uh, can have a lot of crossover effects into your social life as well as your professional life. uh, So yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let us know. I hope we covered everything. If you'd like to share something or have any insights that you would like to add, please comment below and let us know so everybody can be a part of it and grow from it. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this. Keep supporting us as much as you can. We truly appreciate it. And we will see you next Sunday.
So guys.